Ever felt like you're playing Tetris, just trying to fit your emergency supplies into your small apartment or house? You're not alone. Many urban dwellers face the same challenge. Space is at a premium, and when it comes to prepping, every square foot counts. The constraints of small spaces can make preparation seem daunting. You might be asking yourself, where am I going to store all this water? Or how can I possibly fit a first aid kit in my already crowded closet? But here's the thing, it's not about the size of the space, it's about how you use it. The key to successful small space prepping lies in organization and smart storage solutions. That means thinking creatively about the spaces you do have and how best to utilize them. It's about making the most out of every nook and cranny. But don't worry, no space is too small when you know the right techniques. So, where do you start? The first step is understanding what you need. Diving right in, let's talk about the essentials for an emergency prep kit. This isn't about stuffing an entire supermarket aisle into your closet. It's about smart planning. It's about compact and multi-purpose items. First off, food and water. The general rule of thumb is to have enough to last you for at least 3 days. Focus on non-perishable items such as canned goods and dried foods. Remember, you're not hosting a gourmet dinner party. You're surviving. Water is even more critical. The human body can go weeks without food, but only days without water. Store-bought, sealed water bottles are a great option. Next, medical supplies. A basic first aid kit will do. Bandages, antiseptic wipes, tweezers, medical tape, and a few over-the-counter medications should be included. Don't forget any prescription medications you might need. Then we have your important documents. Think identification, medical records, proof of address, insurance policies, and financial information. Best to have these in a waterproof and fireproof container. And while we're on the topic, cash. In emergencies, ATMs and card machines might not be working. Now remember, you're dealing with limited space, so we need to be smart. Consider investing in items that can serve multiple purposes. For example, a Swiss Army knife is a multi-tool. It can serve as a knife, a screwdriver, and a can opener, all in one. A hand-cranked flashlight can provide light and charge your phone. And lastly, don't forget about personal hygiene items, things like toothpaste, soap, and toilet paper. It's amazing how having these small comforts can boost morale during a difficult situation. Remember, the goal is not to cram as much as possible, but to carefully select items that serve multiple purposes. This way, you're not just preparing for an emergency, you're preparing to thrive, even in the smallest of spaces. Now that you know what you need, where do you put it all? This is the question that often stumps many of us when it comes to prepping in small spaces. But fear not, because smart storage solutions are here to save the day. Under-bed storage, for instance, is a goldmine of space that's often underutilized. Slide-out containers, vacuum-sealed bags, or even repurposed old drawers can fit snugly under most beds. They're perfect for storing items that aren't needed on a daily basis, like warm clothing, extra blankets, or emergency supplies. But don't stop at the floor. Look up and you'll see a world of storage potential. Vertical shelving is a fantastic way to make the most of your walls. From floor-to-ceiling bookcases to hanging shelves, these solutions allow you to store items at various heights, making efficient use of your vertical space. And speaking of walls, they're not just for hanging art and family photos. Consider installing pegboards, hooks, or even magnetic strips. They can hold everything from kitchen utensils to tools, freeing up your drawers and countertops. You can even transform your furniture into storage with some creativity. An ottoman with a hollow interior, a bed frame with built-in drawers, or a coffee table with a hidden compartment can provide additional places to stash your essentials. However, while maximizing space, it's crucial to keep items accessible yet out of the way. You don't want to be climbing over stacks of boxes every day, but you also don't want to be digging through layers of storage when you need something quickly. Organization is key here. Group items by category, label everything clearly, and keep frequently used items within easy reach. Remember, the goal is not just to store, but to store smartly. So don't be disheartened by the lack of space. Instead, see it as an opportunity to get creative and innovative with your storage solutions. And remember, sometimes less really is more. The less clutter you have, the more space you have to live comfortably and prepare effectively. With a bit of creativity, every nook and cranny in your home can be a potential storage space. Keeping your supplies organized is one thing, keeping them up to date is another. Now that we've tackled the challenge of smart storage in small spaces, we must also address the essential task of maintaining your supplies. Imagine this. You've got a well-organized prep kit, everything in its place, and then disaster strikes. You reach for a can of beans, only to realize it expired 2 years ago. Or worse yet, you need a critical medication, but it's past its use-by date. That's not just disappointing, it's potentially life-threatening. Rotating your supplies is crucial to avoid such scenarios. The principle is simple. Use the oldest items first and replace them with new ones. This way, you ensure that nothing in your kit goes past its prime. It's especially important for food and medicine, which can degrade over time and lose their effectiveness. But how do you keep track of this? Well, setting reminders can be an effective strategy. Use your digital calendar or a reminder app on your smartphone. Set up monthly or bi-monthly alerts to check your supplies. During these checks, look at the expiry dates on your items. If something is about to expire or has already expired, replace it immediately. It might seem like a lot of work, but think of it as a small investment of time for a potentially huge return. You're not just maintaining your supplies, you're maintaining your peace of mind. Also, remember to keep an eye on the condition of your non-perishable items. Even things like batteries, candles, or matches can deteriorate over time, especially in certain conditions. Keep them in cool, dry places and check them regularly for any signs of damage or wear. In conclusion, rotating and maintaining your supplies isn't a one-and-done task. It's an ongoing process that ensures your prep kit is always ready to serve its purpose when the need arises. Remember, a well-maintained prep kit is as important as having one in the first place. So, take the time to rotate and maintain your supplies. It's worth the effort to ensure your survival and comfort in a crisis situation. So you've got your supplies and storage sorted. Now what? Well, you know that old saying, practice makes perfect? It applies here too. You see, having a well-stocked kit is one thing, but knowing how to use the items in your kit is another ballgame entirely. Think about it this way. You've put together a fantastic toolkit for your car. It's got a jack, a lug wrench, a spare tire. But if you've never changed a tire before and you find yourself stranded on the side of the road with a flat, that kit isn't going to do you much good, is it? The same principle applies to your emergency prep supplies. So how do you become familiar with your kit? Start by setting aside some time to go through your supplies. Get to know what you have, where it's stored, and how to use it. Try out the tools, test out the emergency radio, light a match or two. Next, consider holding regular drills. This might feel a little silly at first, but trust me, it's worth it. These drills don't have to be complex or time-consuming. Simply practicing where to find your supplies and how to use them can make a world of difference if you ever find yourself in an emergency situation. And these drills aren't just for you. If you share your small space with others, make sure they're involved too. Everyone in your household should know where the supplies are and how to use them. Think about the drills as a fun, educational activity. You can even make a game out of it. Who can find and assemble the portable stove the fastest? Who can get the emergency radio working quickest? And lastly, remember to keep learning. As you use your supplies, you'll likely find ways to improve your kit. Maybe you'll find you prefer a different type of flashlight, or maybe you'll discover a new multi-tool that fits your needs better. Remember, in an emergency, knowledge and familiarity with your tools are just as important as the tools themselves. Let's quickly recap the key points we've covered today. First, understanding what you need is crucial. It's all about the basics. Think food, water, and safety. Make a list of essentials that fits your lifestyle. Remember, the goal isn't to stockpile random items, but to gather what you can't live without. Next, we dove into smart storage solutions. Under beds, behind doors, in closets, these are your new best friends. By using every inch of available space, you can store more than you think. And don't forget to get creative with furniture that doubles as storage. We also discussed the importance of maintaining your supplies. It's not a one-and-done deal. Regularly check your supplies, rotate them, and replace what's expired. Lastly, we emphasize the importance of practicing using your supplies. Familiarize yourself with everything you've stored. After all, what good is a tool if you don't know how to use it? With these strategies in hand, prepping in a small space will be less of a challenge and more of a triumph. Until next time, stay safe and stay prepared.